Hi there, this is Cycle Camp and we're continuing our ongoing saga of the Arisaka. Basically what we're going to do today is try to fit the new stock furniture to the sportsterized version. What I have in front of me here is the sportsterized version of the firearm, and what I'm going to bring up as a comparison is the new furniture that I have received. I want to point out some factors about this new guy. It looks like it's going to fit. All the holes appear to be in the right places, and that's a good thing. But I did notice something very interesting about the new, if you call it, furniture, and that is right here. You'll see there's a small hole drilled in this newer furniture that does not exist in the old stock. And it's actually got a buddy. There's actually another hole right here, which is in the replacement furniture that I picked up, which does not exist in the existing furniture. Now, I have no idea what these holes are for. Kind of the interesting thing about them is while they are drilled and they do look like they had been used at one point in time or another, there isn't a lot of markings, or how you get like a little, if there was a screw that went through there, there'd be like a little compression around the edge. Let me bring this up closer to the camera. You see it just looks like a blind hole for some reason. I have no idea what those are for, and if anybody out there happens to know what that's for, I would love to know. But other than that, it looks like it's going to fit okay. Everything appears to be all right. The only thing that I am not going to do is on the new furniture, I'm not going to use this tang. I'm going to use the tang from the original to try to keep all the metallic parts as close to original as possible. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to strip out, pardon my mouse tail there, we're going to strip out we're going to deconstruct the bands that hold this old guy together, and you'll notice there are two screw heads here and one screw head on the back side. Now, one of these screws, the one in the front, actually traverses and goes all the way through, and you can see the other end of the nut, I'm sorry, the other end of the bolt right here sticking out. So this is a much longer screw, and these other two screws are much shorter because they hold internal components in place for the release for the cleaning rod. So we're going to take this off. We're going to remove this screw and take off this top rear band, and then remove the top plate, the handguard, top of the handguard, and then we will, on the current gun, we will remove the modified nose piece, which is with this screw right here, and then we will strip out the action by removing the action screws here. Sorry, put this where you can see it. Here, here, and here, and that's basically what I'm going to do. I'll keep the movie going while I'm doing this, but if it gets to be too boring, then I will just go ahead and skip forward. So first we'll remove this screw, and again this is a slightly longer one, and then we'll remove these other two screws, and they are much shorter. You can see they're much shorter, and there's a metal piece underneath this that we're going to expose in just a second that they go into. So there are two short ones and our tall one, and we can slide that mechanism right out of there. Great. So that's our front nose piece, and you'll see there's a chunk in here that pulls out, which is good because you'd never get this past the sights on the gun otherwise. So you got these two pieces that fit together to make the proper nose piece for this firearm. Okay. All right, so we'll slide into the back here. Let me turn this back over, and we'll grab the rear barrel band and pop that out. Set that on a slightly different spot. Slide it forward. Get it off of there. Again, this new one just has the mechanics that it needs if you were going to put the monopod on. So this little tang, let me hold it up a little more. This little tang right here is where the monopod would go. So I don't have that, and it's very expensive. If I get one, I'll get a fake one. You know, I won't get a real one. Okay, and that exposes the interior of the new furniture. Let's remove the rubber band that's holding on the old. Get it all the way off of here. That's holding on the old tang, and get rid of the tang. And it just drops right out, which is great. Let that to drop right out. Okay, so now we'll go to the sportsterized version of this, and like I said before, whoever sportsterized this did a really nice job fabricating a nose piece that would do this. Oh, knocked my phone off the hook. But unfortunately, it doesn't feel like that bolt is actually coming out. It feels like it might be stripped. Let's take a look on the other side. Put my finger on there and see if I can feel it turning. Yeah, I can feel it turning, but it's not moving out. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to do some playing around with that. I'll probably have to use a sharp knife or some other pin punch or something to push on that while I'm trying to unscrew it. So let me go a little further down while we're playing around here and pull off some of these other screws. So this is this bolt that goes all the way back up through and into the tang. And this is the one right behind the trigger guard, which also goes up and holds the front part of the tang in. And I'm laying them out, you know, in order because I'm a putz and I don't remember how things go together a lot of times. And here's our front piece for the action. Set that down, and we're going to need to move get that top partial handguard off of here. So I'm going to stop this right now and go to work on this screw and see if I can figure out how to get this out of here, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, since last we met, I've gone quite a ways. Unfortunately, I made a movie of it and I messed up and deleted it because I whacked my mouse with a part of the gun and shut the recording off. But let me recap what I ended up finding out. First of all, as far as that nose piece was concerned, yes, it's true, the reason I couldn't get the screw out was because, as you can see, the end of that screw is pretty much stripped out. So when it was going through here, it's probably not the right screw in the first place. So I ended up having to use another piece to push from the opposite side in order to get this out. And I did have to take out the piece in the nose plate. There's that piece that has the hole in it for the cleaning rod, and I did get that out, but of course it flew across the room and I didn't pick it up before I restarted the camera here this last time. But that's basically what happened. Originally, when I took the works out of the other gun, I wanted to use the original top, no, I can't remember what it's called, tang, the top tang. But what I discovered is this is apparently a part that's machined pretty closely for the particular stock that you have, and if I use it, I can't get the works of the gun to set far back enough in to set down cleanly. So I'm going to end up having to use the original tang that came with the firearm. So that's one thing that I was not real happy about, but tang's a tang, I guess. So of course, now that I've set them down, I can't remember which one is which, so we get a chance to watch me screw this up. Let's see what I've got here. So I've got a slightly wider one, and I've got a slightly thinner one. And what's messing me up on these is these corners right here. determine how far back you can set the tang in the gun. So I'm just going to fit this together real quick and see if I can get it to lay down. I honestly don't remember which one was which. And that's not it, I don't think. So I'll try again. Because once you get it down in here, you can't get it back out again because there's nothing to grab onto. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, that looks like a little better. Put this guy on here. Come back. Yep, there we go. So that'll be the one we use. Okay, so let's turn this around so we can reach it and see if we can figure out to put this lower assembly back in again. This way. It's a long screw that goes into the back of the tang. Boy, this is a freaking nightmare. I may let you guys go for a minute and just fart around with this until I either get it right or figure out what I've got to do. So I think rather than have you guys watch me struggle with it a lot longer, because I'm sure this is boring as hell, I will shut this off for a minute and play around and see if I can get it to fit quite right. So back in a bit. Okay, back again. I've got some more information for us here. So the reason I can't get it to lock up properly is because I had the box in upside down. So apparently on this box you'll notice that there is a wider set of lips. There's a wider cutout here and a thinner cutout here, and I couldn't get it to set down properly the first time I tried it with the thinner cutouts down, so I turned them around. Well, of course, it turns out on the action there is a set of a notch here, and you have to use the large cutout to get past that notch, and the small cutout won't do it. So I think that's the reason that I couldn't get that thing together. So I'm going to give it another shot, and I'm going to do it live here, so we'll see what happens. I still don't know if I've got the right tang or not, so that's another issue that we'll have to deal with. So we've got this all set in. Now we're going to bring the box and plate and stuff in underneath. Oh yeah, that looks much better. I hope that'll do it. I don't know it'll do it, but let's take a look. Get my screwdriver back. Yeah, I have a father who's a use a bigger hammer guy, and I had a stepfather that was a step back and take another look guy. So today the step back and take another look guy won, and I'm glad I did, because it made a huge difference. And of course I was trying to force the gun together improperly. Oh yeah, what a huge difference this makes once you have the right parts in the right place. And this trigger guard assembly with the floor plate is all in beautiful and all that stuff. And now we can take this and put it back. Follower and the spring back in, lock it up. This is a little sticky. I'm probably going to have to sand this just a little bit because it is whacking on the wood here. But it could be because I don't have the gun quite level. in the stock also. So let me loosen this one up and tighten this one down a little more. But generally speaking, it looks like it's going together okay. Okay. So earlier I removed the bolt assembly just because the bolt handle was, with me flipping it up and down and everything was getting to be a problem. Alright, so let's go back to the front of the gun, and we should be able to slide this underneath. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, there goes my phone, but I'm not going to answer it, so hold on. Okay. Now we'll take our rear band, slide it over this whole mess back to where it belongs. Okay. Drop that screw through. Nope. This is going to be a tough one because the there we go. Okay. Alright, I got that through, all through to the other side. Alright, now let's take a look at this bad boy. So we're going to take, this is the piece that I was talking about earlier that holds the guide hole for the cleaning rod, and this piece sets inside this other guy like that. So in order to get this band past the sights, you have to slide this in first, and then this goes underneath. So, and they all slap together as a unit. Like we said before, we've got 2 smaller screws and 2 larger screws, so we'll put the smaller screws in first, and then we'll put the larger screw in. The smaller screws are not what you would call tightening up very well, and I'm not real surprised. I thought there was metal works under them from the grab onto, but apparently not. Apparently these screws just go into the wood itself, and they're very fine, but the wood is very old, so I might have to put a little bit of wood filler or something in there to help tighten that up so they don't come loose. This one on this side is nice and tight, the other one is not. And we'll do that again. Well, I guess it tightened up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, so we'll take the bolt and slap it on there. Of course, I probably got it set up wrong for the bolt to go in. Let's see. And then drop the follower. Everybody always forgets to drop the follower. Okay, so this is what she looks like with her new furniture, and I do have a little bit of work to do in this area because, like I said, this is sticking and not going properly. So I'll have to fart around with that. It looks like it's right up in this front area here that it's getting hung up. So I'll play with that a little bit. But generally speaking, we've got her pretty close to where she wants to be. As far as, what the gun was originally supposed to look like, I will probably find an aftermarket. This should be the long rod because of the square button, because of this square button release for the cleaning rod. This is probably the longer rod, so I'll order a fake replacement for that. I may or may not order the monopod since I plan on shooting the gun. I'm not really sure I want the monopod on there. But it looks like the furniture is going to work pretty well. And like I said at the beginning, if anybody knows what this hole and this hole is for, and I'll do some more research and see if I can figure it out. Maybe I'll add an addendum to this before I publish the movie. But that's basically what she looks like. And I have to admit, I'm fairly pleased, because you know, I was taking a risk with the, you know, spending that amount of money for furniture I wasn't sure was going to fit. But I'm pretty happy with this. I think it came out okay, and the firearm looks much more like it would have looked in its original condition. So I'm pretty happy with it. And thanks a lot for watching. Hi there, one last piece. I wanted to mention earlier when we were putting the nose of the gun together, I mentioned that I put this top screw in and it didn't seem to be biting very well, and then I put the other screw in on the back, and then I put, you know, I tightened on this one again and it started tightening up. I totally forgot there's a collar on the inside here, a threaded collar, and they both bite into the collar from either side. So if you put one screw in, you can easily push the collar out of position to the other side, and when I put the other screw in, it pushed the collar back up to where this screw could get a bite on it. So when you put these together, be careful you don't, you know, put one screw all the way in before you put the other screw in, because you'll pull the collar to one side or the other and you'll have a tougher time tightening them up. So that's what I wanted to mention as the very last piece of this. Also, I have already straightened out just a tiny bit. It was actually just the finish that was hanging this up, so I just scratched the finish away, and it was in good shape. Of course, I also noticed that there's a little bit of a blemish here where a piece of the wood chipped off, but I'm not going to worry about that. Again, I'm trying to make this look like it looked when it was in the military, but I do plan on shooting it, so it's not like it was going to be a collectible or anything, and it wouldn't have had any value as a true collectible because of changing the stock out in the first place. So that's it. Thank you very much, and have fun, and don't forget to stop by gunchannels.com. They do a daily gun show, a live chat every weekday at 7 p.m. and then there's extra stuff that goes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and there's also Hit or Miss that happens on Tuesday night around 9 o'clock. A lot of great people out there, people that enjoy guns and the Second Amendment, and I think you'd really enjoy it. So take a peek at gunchannels.com, maybe pop in and say hi during one of our live chats. Thank you, and bye-bye.